Hello people of YouTube, it's Deepak here, and welcome to the DCS news stream for the 10th of June 2023. I hope you all enjoyed that, my most recent tutorial on the M2000C. Today we were looking at how to fire the guns, fire the cannons at air-to-air targets. A lot of fun, it's possible to do it with a radar lock, and also without, by just kind of visually guesstimating the range, I guess the aim and the range. So yeah, a lot of fun. I'm going to continue the series on the M2000C. There's still quite a lot to take in. We still have the data link to take a look at. We still have the computed target positions, memory modes of the radar, all manner of fun stuff. So stay tuned. Let me know if any of you have something in particular that you would like covered next. Otherwise, I will choose something that I think is interesting. Welcome to the stream, Colin Kelly, Tog, Echo, Tech Gaming 45, Yogi, Pink Floyd. Yep, Sinai is here. Yes, we'll be talking about that in just a moment. And also, one thing to quickly note, if you haven't already, please do subscribe, like and comment, because I'm just about at 8,000 subscribers, and that's very, very exciting. So who knows, maybe we'll even get that during the course of this stream. That'd be fantastic. But okay, so without any further ado, let's get on with the news, and that means I need to bring on board my tame pilot buddy, dotChuckles. Hello everyone. Welcome to the stream, dotChuckles. Very, very nice indeed to have you on board again, sir. Taps off, yeah. It's a bit toasty. It's been toasty here in Stockholm, but I luckily have like windows at either end of my apartment and they're open, so I'm getting a nice through flow of air. So I'm not too bad, not too bad. No. We shall. First, welcome to the stream, JP Gibbons. Charts. Oh no, what have I done? This happens from time to time. Actually, you shouldn't be mute, because... say something again? Yeah, okay, you are indeed. I somehow have the wrong one chosen. Okay, you now should be audible.
Wibble?
You are indeed audible now. Okay, right. This is the problem. I have two sound cards that have almost exactly the same name, and if I select the wrong one, then the audio gets routed incorrectly. It's very sad. But he is back. I'm not a professional. I'm just a guy with a computer. So this will happen from time to time. But dotChuckles was explaining that it's very, very warm in Scotland at present,
yes.
and he is currently boiling like a Scotch egg.
Yes, it is taps off, and I am sticky, not in a fun way. So, anyway, now that we've resolved our technical issues, let's do the news.
Absolutely. So, welcome to the stream, JP Gibbons. Welcome, Charts. Welcome, Sean I Am 81. Flying short final in an MU2 and watching Deepak don't mix. I'm assuming that's not IRL, because there are very few of those in the real world. Cool. Welcome, Only Napalm.
I like the idea. He's got his mobile phone on the yoke on the checklist thing.
Yes.
Oh, I'm just streaming. What? Okay, finals.
Oh man. I don't know how to say your name, but I'm guessing it's Dead Soldier. Welcome to the stream, Pink Floyd, Pet Hell, Echo, Nico, Spellsword 91. Lots and lots of people. Mangash, welcome. And Tea Kettle Barbecue. Welcome everybody to the stream. There's so many of you. And make sure, if you haven't already, that you do subscribe, because we're just about at 8,000. But as dotChuckles suggested, let's get on with the news.
Let's do the news.
Enough nonsense now.
Yes.
Dear fighter pilots, partners, and friends, we are excited to launch the Sinai map with a 20% early access discount. I didn't know they were going to do this. This stunning new terrain for DCS is of huge historical importance and offers an incredibly diverse and challenging battlefield for you to explore and dominate. Not sure that's great wording to use when you're talking about a real place in a real part of the world. Let's go dominate the Egyptians. I'm sure they'll love that. So anyway, the newsletter suggests we watch the launch trailer. How about we do exactly that? And I'm going to see if I can do this without losing dotChuckles. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
That seems to work.
They did such a good job with this trailer. It was oofed. And a starring role from the F4 as well, in a couple of places. So
yes.
I was quite excited to see that. Yeah.
It looks fantastic.
It looks amazing. It looks absolutely amazing. And looks just so detailed. Which may be having a problem. We'll talk about that later.
Yes.
But it does oofed. Yeah. Yeah.
As you say, always Eagle Dynamics trailers looking really, really good. I wonder if it's glowing Amram that still puts these together.
I don't know, but I mean, he was the daddy when it came to putting trailers, so I would imagine they're probably giving him some coin to do these. I would be interested to know who it was that.
F4.
There you go. There's the F4. MiG-29 showing up a lot in that trailer. I wonder, is that
for a year or two now, I would say, actually. When they were doing the big rewrites of the combat AI, they were pretty much always demonstrating it with the MiG-29. So they like to get the MiG-29 in there a lot. Yeah,
because obviously that is somewhere in the line, but we don't know where.
Yes. It's been said, nobody knows when it's coming, or it's also been kind of announced and unannounced a couple of times.
Yeah, it rocketed past there, but the pyramids at Giza, like, you can see every block. I mean, the number of polys in that. I mean, I imagine they must be using polys. I don't know if ED's engine can support normal map, sort of extensive geometric deformation with
at that scale. I'd be very surprised.
Normal mapping. Yeah, I know. I don't know. I mean, you can do not normal mapping.
PBR?
No.
I
do this for a fucking living. I should know.
We're all allowed to forget the names of things from time to time.
You can basically deform geometry rather than it just being a shader effect. It actually physically deforms geometry.
I'm familiar with this. I've seen it.
The name has just gone out of my head, but it's considerably less taxing than creating lots and lots of polys. But I don't know if their engine supports that. I doubt it. So I'm guessing it's polys,
I think so. And yes, some people have recorded fairly low frame rates. One of the VAF chaps, actually, check out his channel, Havoc Company Clan, I believe is the name of his YouTube channel. He puts together some really nice stuff. He's got a bunch of helicopter and physical controller stuff.
Good source of Verpal information, by the way, as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Shadows on the VAF Discord. Big shout out to him. Nice channel. Yeah. And he was experiencing 7 frames per second over the pyramids, and he does not have a low end computer. So
no.
I think he's rocking a 3000 series NVIDIA card, and then something of a similar spec. So
so you got to pay for all that detail somewhere.
Yes,
but before we came on it, we were talking about this, and we did comment that similar things were seen with the Syria map. There was some catastrophic performance issues on Syria, and they're all largely resolved.
Syria runs great for me. Like, since they did their optimization passes, I've had no trouble with Syria at all. On day one, Syria was a bit clunky.
So we'll wait and see. But it looks amazing, and it looks really detailed, and it's going to be fun flying over. Hopefully, they will resolve the performance issues.
Yes, indeed. Welcome to the stream, Grimner. Nico, I saw a week ago Finland's Flag Day parade, 4 times the tanks Russia had in its last Victory Day parade. Well, Russia had 1 tank in their last...
One tank. It was a T-34.
So that's not hard to have more than Russia had. There were also following fighters doing overflights. F-16C, of course, flown by the Finnish Air Force. Gripen, Rafale, F-15E, and Typhoon. Wow, you guys are lucky. You get all the nice stuff flying over you.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Gripen. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely agree. That F4 shot was pretty... pretty nice. Anyone else saying anything that we should talk about? Has anyone tested Sinai in VR? I don't know if Shadows flies in VR, so I don't know if his was VR values.
I think he does?
I think he doesn't.
Oh, right. Okay, is he 2D?
I think he's track IR. I think.
Well, I mean, generally I get about 30% less frames when I go to VR. I mean, like, I'm up in the hundreds when I'm on 2D, and in VR I float just somewhere under 90.
So even people with decent hardware might get as low as 5 frames per second going over the pyramids. So turn down your settings, or just don't fly over the pyramids.
Yeah. Do you know what? It'll be the classic thing that always seems to happen. LOD stuff, I would imagine, is probably awaiting some optimization, because I remember for a while there was, I think it was one of the Russian trucks. If you put like a couple of them in the mission, like, your frame rates would crater. Because the LODs weren't optimized, so it was trying to draw like about 1 billion polys, even though they were like the other side of the map. So yeah,
a lot of that stuff has been fixed now. So let's not allow the talk of the performance to make people think Sinai is not fantastically exciting, because it is fantastically exciting. It's an important part of the world, and actually, if you look at the on the forums, they posted a map showing the extents of Syria map and the extents of Sinai map. They actually line up perfectly. So you could actually run like one mission on one and then the next mission on another, and you would have like perfect coverage. Effectively, they do line up perfectly.
Yeah.
So it's very, very nice. So very excited to see DCS Sinai. I've not flown on it myself yet, but I do intend to get it while we've got the discount. So the DCS Sinai map spans from Egypt to southern Israel. It is a strategic location, rich in resources, nature, religion, and history. This huge map includes all highly detailed airports, military air bases, towns, cities, deserts, fertile farmlands, oases, coastlines. The Suez Canal waterway connects the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea and provides a shorter route between Europe and Asia. We know. This significant trade route is of immense economic value, and regional security and stability are essential for global business. 18,000 plus vessels transit through the canal per annum, and with a value in excess of 3 trillion USD, or 12% of global trade, it's fair to say that Sinai is a big deal. Enjoy. Did they just copy-paste this from Wikipedia?
Probably.
Please check out the first part of our radar white paper. This first paper discusses our work on the F-16C radar enhancements and how radar detection range is simulated based on several factors. Next week, the vast majority of our staff will be on global teams offsite, and therefore support and updates may be somewhat less active. We apologise for this and thank you for your understanding. So, Sinai, early access. This new map territory includes the entire Sinai Peninsula, eastern Egypt, the Nile Delta, southern Israel, western Jordan, and Saudi Arabia. It also includes the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. The total size of the map is 1,500 by 1,000 kilometres, and the detailed section is 700 by 700. This is the first phase of the map, and later phases will add additional details, airfields, and other map content. In modern times, it's associated with the Arab-Israeli wars, during which it repeatedly became the subject of disputes. This includes the Suez Crisis of 1956, the Six-Day War of 1967, the Yom Kippur War of 1973, and the Yom... Yeah, okay. The grammar seemed weird there, but it was me, actually. We truly hope you enjoy this fantastic edition. The map contains many military bases and strategic seaports, emplacements for air defense systems, and helipads. This will allow you to create interesting missions in both the air and on the ground. A large number of military facilities and bases will help to reenact the Arab-Israeli wars, as well as modern missions and campaigns based on fictional scenarios.
Yeah, it's F4s and MiG-21s and all that goodness when that happens. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So we have 20 Egyptian airfields. We have 9 Israeli airfields. Airfields are accurately modelled and include lighting, approach lights, PAPI, TACAN, and VOR systems. The city lighting is using Eagle Dynamics graphics engine. Major cities like Cairo, Ismail, Alexandria, Suez, Port Said, and Tel Aviv. Close to 100 unique objects, airfield facilities, and monuments, including the famous Giza pyramids. All objects and assets are divided into territories, whatever that means. The coastline of the Suez Canal and the Gulf of Suez and the Gulf of that word, Aquaba, I don't know. Implementation of new procedural generation technology of land textures and normal map textures for mountains. Improved height maps that result in an accurate surface mesh and unique tree models.
Okay.
So, very nice.
Lots of new tech in there. So yeah, work in progress probably.
Oh yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
Spellword 91. We need a super low fidelity mode in DCS to make it look like the early 90s sim, especially for VR. I like the idea of like you're playing something that looks like A10 Cuba.
Yeah, I remember the original flanker, the first SSI simulations flanker, which was the first ED product.
Yes.
And I remember it had all those polygon mountains and all that kind of stuff. And for its time, it looked really good, for its day.
It had dithering instead of actual shading. I remember that.
Yeah,
they just drew pluses all over everything. Amazing. Just checking in with chat. What's everyone saying here? Great map, enjoying exploring it in the revamped Gazelle, says Charts. Yes, we're going to touch on that in a moment as well.
A bit. Yeah. I quite like Nico's comment about the classic Egyptian pyramid defense. When you start losing to the enemy, fly over the pyramids to shake them off. That's because of the mystical energies that sharpen your razor blades that as you fly.
Mangash, it's pronounced Akaba.
Akaba, right.
That
okay.
Makes sense.
Thank you.
Yeah, apologies for my rubbish pronunciation. We believe that the DCS Sinai map will enhance your gameplay experience and attract new pilots to the world of DCS. Whether you're an experienced flight simmer or a newcomer, the DCS Sinai map offers endless opportunities for thrilling missions and challenges.
We agree.
We agree. And it's available now for $39.99.
That's cheap for a map with that discount.
That's actually not bad.
Yeah. That's a nice. That's a nice thing to get. Like, was it on pre-order?
No, there was no pre-order, but they're giving a discount during early access.
And that's why they're doing the discount. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. DCS Sinai, looking very nice. Next in the newsletter, we have radar white paper. The F-16C and the F-18C radars are undergoing significant refactoring to provide a more accurate and realistic accounting of their detection capabilities. This includes a wide array of real-world factors that were previously unaccounted for. This first radar white paper discusses our modelling logic of the F-18C radar. A later radar white paper will discuss the F-16C radar and how we calculate its detection capabilities. Please read the in-depth radar white paper. And if you're all sitting comfortably, I'll begin. I'll read it for you. No.
Although that said, it's a pretty short white paper. The white papers that I'm used to reading are like usually about 300 pages long.
Right, okay. I've not even clicked on this thing yet, so I don't know how long it is, but I don't think it's... it's 4 pages. I actually could...
How's your algebra? Let's not.
I could read this. Although I've got no idea how to read these equations. So
no, let's not. Let's not.
Let's just not do that. Excellent. But yeah, that's really, really cool. And I've got to say, I wonder... I wonder if the reason why they're taking a second look at the radars is because they've seen what Razbam has done with the Strike Eagle, and they're like, ooh dear.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It depends. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's something they've always wanted to address.
Yes.
And it's things that they have talked about. So again, it comes back to this thing that we've always said and we believed last year, and seems to be the case, that ED were going to concentrate more on the core of DCS, and kind of, fix the woodwork and paint the house and all that kind of stuff. And that seems to fall into that remit, and it's good to see. So, it's just sort of further improving the base, really.
The thing is, though, we thought that this was going to be at the to the detriment of their module releases. However, that doesn't seem to be the case, because, of course, the Apache is still in heavy development, F-16 and F-18 getting these slight tweaks. They've announced Chinook, they've announced MiG-29, and it's also seeming quite likely that they're doing is it an F model Cobra? I'm trying to remember now. So yeah, I think they're also doing an AH-1. And this is Eagle Dynamics themselves. So like they're actively working on 4 if you count the Hind. I don't know how much is being done on the Hind. So they're actively developing 4 modules, and then there's a further 3 that are to come. That doesn't seem like they're slowing down.
True, which is surprising in a way. I mean, you're right. We did sort of think that they would concentrate on the core, and that they would let the third parties pick up the slack on modules. And you're right. It looks like they are charging ahead. I mean, they seem to be having, from what I understand, a more globalized developer base within ED. Like, I mean, it was
somewhat by necessity, probably.
Well, yeah. Because at one time it was very much focused on their office in Moscow, and that's where all the development. But now, as I understand it, it's developers all over the world, and I wonder if that's sort of given them access to a broader talent pool. I don't know, pure speculation, but
yeah. I've got no idea. I was very surprised when we got the announcement of the Chinook in the 2023 and beyond video. When that dropped, I was like, well, number one, I was super psyched. I was like, yes, please. But I was also surprised. I was like, how are you guys doing this? You're already having to do so much. And they have been delivering, they've been delivering with like multi-threading. We believe that DLSS is just about to drop. Then there's Vulcan, and they're still doing all of these other kind of engine improvements. I don't understand how they're doing this, but apparently they're doing it.
Yeah, good on them. Them. I mean, it's the community's been screaming at them for a long time to sort of really improve the base, and they are showing to be doing that. So Keep it up. Good job.
Well done, chaps. Speaking of which, they released an open beta update just on Thursday there.
Yes, they did.
They did, and there was some knock-on to that, but we'll cover that in just a moment as well. I like this top-line item, very, very important. Infantry no longer smoke when injured or killed. There was This was a brilliant one. I saw videos of this. They were like, when you killed an infantryman, they basically burst into flames and kind of smoldered and then smoked, like they were a vehicle. I think someone got something mixed up.
Let's be clear: when they when they got injured, they didn't take out a packet of Benson and Hedges and spark up and just be like, wow, fuck.
Medic! Oh dear. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
So, this is hilarious. I've seen some good videos of this.
I know, right?
Is there anything else core here that was particularly...
Actually, it's a huge list, so we probably can't go through all of it, but yeah.
Yeah. Big news, of course, being that both the F-16 and the F-18 are getting the velocity search modes, which our man, Daddy Wags, posted a video about just shortly. We're actually going to be showing that video a little bit later. And they've also, in the F-16 at least, they've added the speed gate as well. So you can actually tweak your speed gate, I guess, in the event that you're trying to pick up helicopters would be the main thing. Previously it was set.
Yeah, the other one I want to point out is in Apache, fixed LST switch in front cockpit.
Yes.
Because that was annoying. It would be from cold start. So you start up and you're...
it was in automatic.
Waggling around and... So, yeah. That's been fixed, which is nice.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Afternoon, John Bluer. Welcome to the stream. And Spellsword. Since the 2014 Crimea annexation, devs have been wisely relocating from Russia and Ukraine. I heard they still have a bunch of people in Moscow, but as I understand
I think they only have. I remember somebody from ED commenting that it was like 3 or 4. Like it wasn't many. And they also relocated their head office to Switzerland.
Yes, they did that a few years back.
So registered the company there. Yeah.
Probably a good move. This is pretty good, and we get instant action missions for the F-16 and the F-18 on Sinai, so that makes that easy to get into. Yeah, as you say in the Apache, not only did they fix that switch, but they also made it possible for the AI to use IAT, which is nice. The windshield wipers clean raindrops, and I don't know if they only did this because in this update the Gazelle gained the ability to do that, and maybe ED were shamed.
Or is it the ED implemented that in the engine and the Gazelle? Oh, we'll put that in, and it was a thing that was coming. But it's cool either way.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm just glad to have it.
Yeah.
And in a bunch of fixies. Bunch of fixies for most of these modules. Nothing really super worth talking about. Vigan from Heatblur still getting updates all these years later. We've got the RB05 overhaul, which is very, very nice. Many keybinds added, and then there are extra jammer modes, which is pretty cool. You can load your gun pods with non-tracer ammunition. And then a bunch of fixies. So pretty cool. The F-14 gets Phase 2 of its major ground handling and suspension overhaul, which is very, very nice to see. Again, massive continued updates to this module from Heatblur. Well done. Anything else? All hot starts now spawn with the parking brake engaged. No longer will you jump in the aircraft and roll off the deck immediately. That's always nice. I think that's pretty much it. JF-17, the PL-12 now shows correctly in the SMS page. In the previous update, they added the PL-12 to the JF-17, which is rather exciting. However, the reason they're doing it is they're trying to get rid of their own missile logic that they've developed, and they're using the PL-12 as a test. So the PL-12 is in effect using ED's AIM-120C missile logic and autopilot and so on. Whereas the normal SD-10 uses something that DECA came up with themselves. So that's kind of cool. And then the biggie, the Gazelle by Polychop Simulations. Updated external textures to PBR standard, added raindrops on the canopy, interior lighting and reflections updated, flight model, entirely rewritten flight model. Overhauled the engine and rotor behaviours, updated mass and payload mass parameters, many new behaviours added or reworked, including ground effect, flap back, blowback, retreating blade stall, density altitude, ETL, lots of things that I don't fully understand. Engine surge effect from rapid collective movement added, force feedback support added, and then they've removed a bunch of things that were not realistic, which is kind of nice. We also get a completely reworked L model with the ability to carry the Hot 3 missiles and Mistral. The dedicated Mistral version is now removed. It still exists as an AI model if you want to fly AI Mistral ones, but otherwise you just rearm in the L model and you can carry Mistral. They've also added brand new 50 cal machine gun pods, and they've added more ammunition types for the GAT 20mm cannon, which is nice.
Nice.
So lots of really, really nice stuff here. Yeah, actually, quite a big rework of the minigun variant of the Gazelle as well, which is really, really nice to see. And there's still some stuff to come. So there's more work that they're going to do on the flight model, and they're going to be adding the auto hover and turn to target autopilot modes, but realistic this time, as opposed to kind of cheats, which is nice. I flew this for the first time today, and I have to say it's a massive difference. I think it's absolutely brilliant. And just for fun, I decided to melt the engine, just to see how the engine damage model is working. And it does work. My torque indicator started bouncing all over the place as the temperature rose and rose, and then my engine turned to a liquid, and I fell from the sky.
John Blur says, ED adds radar-guided Hellfires. Yeah, cool, I guess. Polychop ad working wipers. I can't tell the difference between simulation and reality anymore. Yes, pretty accurate.
Yes. Oh dear. So, Tog, if a sniper can see a cigarette light up from a mile away, what can a sniper pod see when infantry smoke? Well, yeah, that's fixed now, so no more smoking infantry. Really, really excited about this.
Is it only the third infantryman that's on fire that gets shot?
Well, maybe. You never know.
Sorry, have I confused you with that?
No.
There's a whole thing that if you're lighting somebody's cigarette, like the third, and if like you're in a group of you that's smoking and you light the first one, you light the second one, the third one is unlucky.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the idea was, and it comes from the trenches, that the lighter lighting alerts the sniper, the second light zeroes him in, and the third one gets shot in the head.
Fair enough. Actually, I wasn't aware of that, but it makes sense.
Yeah. No, never light 3 cigarettes from a lighter. Well, you should never light cigarettes anyway. Smoking's a filthy, awful habit.
Yeah, very bad for you. So yeah, hats off to Polychop. Well done. Done a really good job with this, and. Also, of course, many people have been saying this. It gives people a lot more confidence in the Kiowa release, that they've gone back to the Gazelle and properly fixed it up before the Kiowa. Because the original plan was to do this after Kiowa, and that made some people upset.
Yeah. They seem to be responsive, and again, and there's like, I know that there's been a lot of hate about the fact that the Kiowa was so delayed and all that kind of stuff. But honestly, I kind of respect them for it.
Uh-huh.
Just like they're making sure it's right, rather than releasing something that's broken. So,
it'll be done when it's done. John Bloor mentioning, did we see the F4 Phantom radar? Oh, I didn't.
I did. Yes. It's very old school. It's very, you are going to have to, I'm hoping that Heat Blur model the, tweaking and filtering that radar had, so that you can start to try and pull details out of the radar image, because it's green soup basically, and like you are going to have to work to find your target. It looks awesome. It looks bang on 1960s technology. It looks fabulous.
Okay, I have actually located that, so we'll pull that up a little bit later. Excellent. Michael, they only did it because nobody was going to buy their Max product given the quality of the previous one. I think that's almost certainly true. I think there was a sizable contingent of people who were saying, look at the Gazelle, there's no way I'm buying the Kiowa. And so now they've come back and they've addressed that, basically.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Check out the Gazelle. Again, Airgis with the F1, just immense change logs every single time. This is still in very active development, and we're still getting more and more stuff added to it. This is really cool. I actually haven't had a chance to properly work through the F1 that much, do much flying with it or cover it, but I will in the future. So that's to come. C101 from Avio Dev, still getting updates, looking really, really nice here. So good work. Well done, Avio Dev. And Black Shark 3 rotor gearbox sounds were updated.
Cool.
And that's pretty much it. Oh, and actually, in Normandy 2 map, sorry, a whole bunch of additions if you've got that map. So very, very nice. Nice to see. So that was really, really cool. Big update. Now, what was not so cool is what happened when they released this update. Shall we talk about that?
Dear.
Whoopsie.
Oh, poor servers.
Yes. Yeah, it would seem that ED's kind of centralized logon server / authentication mechanism could probably do with some work. It's
it shat the bed. Like,
yep.
I have thoughts. I think something. I don't think it was just
load. Yeah,
I don't think so. I think something went wrong. Something else went wrong, because we've had big releases before and it's not been this bad. This was pretty dire in terms of its severity.
Oh yeah. Like in the past, when it's been bad, we've seen it go down for say an hour, 2 hours at most, really.
At most, even if that.
And on this occasion, for some people, it was 3 days. Like I wasn't able to get logged in, so I think the patch dropped at around about 6 p.m. my local time, so that's CET. And I wasn't able to actually log in and authenticate until about 10 or 11 p.m. that day. So for me, it was quite a few hours. But then people were still having...
Friday morning for me, I think it was.
All right, well, this was Thursday night, so I did get in on Thursday night, but it was late by the time I was able to get in. And then, next day people were still having troubles, and even the day after that, some people were still having troubles. It's working perfectly for me today, so it is back, and Eagle, to their credit, did tweet and say that they were very sorry, and they admitted that things were not going very well. But no explanation, so we don't know what the issue is. As you say, it would seem strange if it was just load, because they must have had this kind of load before. So I wonder if they were also experiencing a DDoS or some kind of failure at the same time.
Yeah, because, I mean, like in terms of interest, I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm totally wrong, but I mean, I would have thought Apache would have had a bigger draw than the Sinai map.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, exactly. Who knows? And then the other thing...
And F-16, like F-16 was a hypersonic amount of interest, and it went okay. Yeah. So, I don't know, I just feel like something else somewhere went wrong, and there were problems, but who knows? They've not told us what it was.
Charts actually mentioning the fact that because there was no pre-order for Sinai, I wonder if that meant that a lot of people were like hammering the servers trying to buy it and then download it, and that caused the problem.
That's a really good point.
Because rather than spreading that load out over a pre-order period, you've put it all into one day. It
all happened at once.
Yeah.
That is a very good point. A very good point, yeah.
Who knows? We'll probably never know. They're never going to tell us. But it was notable that the servers pooed themselves, and it took quite some time to unpoo.
Yeah. And then, of course, I haven't had a chance to fly the new Gazelle fly model because I was at work all yesterday and I was a bit busy today. And yesterday evening, I was going to try and fly the Gazelle. And then I saw that because all the modules had deauthorized when I was trying to log in, it had reset all my settings in the special tab. And I was like, oof, that's enough internet for me today.
Yes.
So
you noped out of that one.
Yeah, because that just seems like a crazy way of doing things, that if you deauthorize, it won't remember your settings when it reauthorizes.
I luckily didn't have this problem, but yeah, I've seen, like, we've seen all kinds of strange resets in the past, so that's not unusual. These things do happen. But yeah, sad, but anyway, it's all working again. I just hope that we don't see the same thing next month when the F-15 drops. But
although it did come out in that patch, and then it was very quickly deleted.
This is true. Well, although not flyable, though. They accidentally had the F-15E AI module. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Anyway, these things happen. Then, this week we also had a fantastic video from our man, Matt Wagner, all about the velocity search modes for both the F-16 and the F-18. I was surprised to see this drop, because I think I said the same thing last week. I didn't realize that this mode was still included in the Block 50 F-16. I thought that they actually deleted this mode in later versions of the F-16.
Yeah.
But maybe that my information is incorrect.
It's pretty cool. I mean, you can detect stuff way far out with it, but you don't get a huge amount of useful information from it. You can tell if it's, going away from you really quickly or coming towards you really quickly, and what direction that is. And I guess in the days of integrated sensors and AWACS, it's a bit kind of like, okay, cool, whatever. But you can, I mean, I may be wrong, but I think you can basically see as far as, you know, your radar signal goes before it effectively dissipates due to the inverse square law. You know, it's pretty long range. But again, you know, the information you get back from it is not necessarily that useful. But it's very cool that they're modeling it and that it's in there.
Yes, very much so. And then, of course, you know, the only thing you can do with it is a single target track. There's no situational awareness modes involved in this. So, like in the case of the F-16, there's no TWS. You just get raw bricks. And you know, same goes for the Hornet. You only get raw radar returns, and the only thing you can do is a single target track lock. Or wait for it to get a bit closer and show up on one of the other modes. So yeah, pretty damn cool. Somebody actually, just to call out this, at the top right in the Hornet, of course, normally it displays the current range mode. One of the guys in VAF asked, whoa, so with this mode, the radar of the Hornet can scan out to 2,400 nautical miles. And I was like, no, that's the speed gate, but not exactly the speed gate, but that's the maximum closure rate that it's going to display. Because in effect, to explain for people who might not know what the velocity search modes do, it's azimuth, kind of left to right, and then top to bottom you're actually displaying closure rate as opposed to range. There is no range information in this mode at all. You have to actually lock the target to then figure out how far away it is. The only thing you do know is that if it's appearing close to you, like near the bottom, it's hot, well, most likely hot, unless you're flying a Blackbird, and it's approaching you very, very fast.
So yeah, I mean, it does give you some useful information, but you know, you have to apply some brain mathematics to sort of figure it out. But yeah, it's cool that it's there. It's cool that it's there.
And then probably the only way that you're going to detect an aircraft at a longer range than this is if they're jamming you. So, yeah, if for some reason they're really far away and they turn on their jammer, then of course you're going to get azimuth with no range information in the dugout in the case of the Hornet.
Well, I mean, that in itself is kind of useful because you can then turn towards the direction and put an AMRAAM in HOJ mode and all that kind of stuff. And
true,
you know, so
but then you need someone else to tell you how far away that target is because you may well be out of range.
Yeah. But what was I going to say? You kind of get that information anyway in some of the other modes. So yeah, it's pretty old school technology. Way of looking at radar, but been superseded now. So
yep. Michael Frisia saying, what killed the Apache was the ridiculously long wait time till release, the multiple promises of release date soon, and the insane trim system that renders it useless. I think that's not a very common point of view, I don't think.
Yeah. I don't think the Apache's dead, and I don't have much of a problem with the trim, so yeah.
The only problem I had with the trim was when I didn't map the controls and was trying to fly it with you. And I was like, Chuck, the trim doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I eventually figured it out.
The difficulty is that the not saying this is the case in Michael's case, but the trim does confuse people because it is a bit what's the word I'm looking for? It is a bit obtuse how it works. But that was the same with the Black Shark. And then eventually, as people worked out, oh, that's how they want you to do it, then, you know, it becomes perfectly flyable. A lot of people have problems as well with, particularly if they use the central trimmer function. If their joystick isn't like dead rock solid, because like its tolerance on what is center is really small. So if their joystick isn't like, if you don't have like a really, really good gimbal, or they don't set like a wide enough
dead zone,
then the trimmer does crazy stuff. because it kind of goes, I've not come back to center, and then you lose control. And as well, the other problem with the way that they've chosen to do the trim is if you are trimmed well forward, because we've had to recenter the stick to account for the fact that we don't have a magnetic brake on the stick, you've basically lost 50% of your pitch authority.
Yeah.
Because if you pull all the way back, you're effectively only just pulling it back to the center. So it's a shortcoming of the way that they've had to simulate it. But then again, we all don't have magnetic brakes in our home sim pits and whatever. So it's kind of like, well, take your pick. But I mean, the thing again, we've had that issue with pretty much every helicopter, and like I wouldn't say it's unviable. It's another layer of abstraction you have to have in your brain at all times, and it can get a bit wearing.
As you can say, I remember back in when the Black Shark was originally released, and you had the multiple types of trim. I think actually at launch it only had the center type of trim, if I recall.
No. It was the instant. It
was the instant trim. Oh, yeah, that's right, because that's the one that would make you bounce all over the place.
Yeah, because it immediately offsets your controls.
Yes.
I did notice in the special options for the Gazelle, because I was going through and changing everything, there's a new option which I'm keen to play with, which is fade in, fade out.
I saw this too. I also think that looks really good.
Yeah, I wonder how that works.
They described it, actually. I followed their discussion about it in the Polychop Discord, and so they say what happens is when you release the trim, it moves your controls, and you can actually see it doing it if you bring up the control indicator. It moves your center point over the course of less than 1 second. So fades it towards that direction.
So it's like the best of both worlds of the instant trimmer not having to come, not like central trimmer where you have to come back to a fixed point until your controls work.
Yeah.
And the instant trimmer. Ooh.
Yeah, it sounds
that's actually
really good.
Very clever. Like, I wonder if that's something we're going to get in the Kiowa too. That would be really cool.
I would assume so. Because they're basically backporting tech that they've developed for the Kiowa to the Gazelle. So,
Spellthird 91 saying, I like the springless trim mode. Yes, if you've got a gimbal that has clutches, or if you're lucky enough to have something with force feedback, that is the ideal, because that is how it is in the real thing. You just put your stick where it needs to be, hit the trimmer, and then all the forces go off it.
Yeah.
That's how it how it should be in the real world. And I've seen people make some crazy homebrew controls that do that. It's nice. So I use I use the Virpol gimbal, the new one, which has the clutches. But I found that the clutches, because of the design of the gimbal, where you've got separate X and Y axes, when you put the clutches on, you don't draw circles, you draw squares.
Oh.
Yeah, because one clutch bites and wants to force you in one direction, and then as you apply more force to make it go to the y-axis, then that clutch bites and the pitched one doesn't. And what you end up is drawing squares rather than circles. It's actually it really sort of messes with you. But it's the design of the gimbal. So yeah, it's not ideal, but we have to do so much abstraction when it comes to flight controls. So what I get very annoyed about with people who go, I don't use curves on my stick because I'm hardcore. And I'm like, no, you're just a tit. Because the thing is unless you have the exact same stick with the exact same length and the exact same breakout force, the amount that you move your hand, like if you move your hand 1 inch forward or 1 inch left or 1 inch right on a desk mounted stick, that is in no way going to translate to the real aircraft's flight input. And the only way that you can accurately get the correct muscle memory movement is through using curves or using saturation. So we have to do so much abstraction, and this trimmer method with the helicopter is yet another layer of abstraction.
Yeah.
What we should all have is ED should give us real cockpits
Yep.
For each module with the real stick in it,
We should
and then
3D print.
Fine.
Yeah. We should have like really, really high quality gimbals, and then we should be 3D printing the right stick for each aircraft we're going to fly.
Yeah, and I mean, just people need to just get over their pride and just use the tools that you've been given so that you can properly fly things, because the kind of amount of movement that you need to do to keep something stable, particularly in a helicopter, it's particularly pronounced in a helicopter. You need to be using the tools that are given there to let you replicate that. And it's not it's not like you're not a good pilot by doing that. It's got nothing to do with that. It's you're more authentically creating the amount of deflection that the real pilot would be using in controlling the aircraft. Mm-hmm. It's and bear in mind as well, we use what are basically toys.
Yeah.
Even the high-end Verpol stuff, it's lovely, it's beautifully engineered, but it's a toy. Compared to the millions of pounds of engineering that goes into real aircraft control systems in these platforms.
They're very nice toys, but
they're very nice toys. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. But I mean, and to get that one-to-one relation, it's very difficult. And so bite the bullet, use some curves, you'll have a much better time.
Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah, I'm moving to doing it a little bit myself. Welcome to the stream, Channel Right. Quick update for everybody. I'm currently at 7,998 subscribers.
Nice!
If there are 2 people watching this stream right now who are not subscribed, do me a solid. No, don't shit yourself. Click the subscribe button and... and I'll hit the 8,000, the magical 8,000 number, and then I guess I'll be more accomplished in my life or something.
Well done, sir. Brad saying, get over your pride applies to a lot of commentary on DCS. Yes, I agree. Thank you. Although I cannot claim that to be my own opinion or phrase. It was actually Casmo who said it when he did a video very recently on exactly this. He was just like, get over your pride, use curves.
Casmo knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, it's fair enough.
I mean, they can do that too, as long as they subscribe.
Hey, what you do in the comfort of your own home is none of my business.
Yeah, no kink shaming here.
Yes, absolutely. Oh dear. Okay, moving on swiftly. Let's take a little look at that F4 radar.
I'm done.
So this is a tweet from yesterday. Oh dear. Turtle heads for all. What have I done?
Fuck, that just buckled me.
Oh dear. Yes. I want someone to clip that. Me saying, "Do me a solid." Anyway,
right, okay, back to seriousness.
Yes, a tweet from Heatblur Simulations. Spot the target. This is just from yesterday. Using the APQ-120 in the F4E will be a challenge, and our next generation physically based radar simulation is aimed at providing as full of a simulation as is possible on a modern CPU. WSOs assemble Wizzos, I guess, really.
Oof.
Let's run this.
Yeah, see what I mean?
Yeah. Where are the aircraft in this image? Can everyone point out the aircraft in these scans? Because I would have... Oh, actually, I see one.
Yeah.
Or maybe I see one. It's hard to say. Yeah, that's really hard. Because you're going to want to see kind of bright returns on repeated scans. And the thing is, if you have multiple bars set, then that becomes really hard because the target might not appear in some of the bars. So you then kind of need to remember, you almost want to have a Sharpie and you want to draw a circle and then wait for a couple more scans to complete and see.
So I could be wrong, but I don't know if the F4 used a bar system like that. I think it was manually you changed the elevation manually. I could be wrong. But yeah, it's going to be super cool. Like your Wizzo is going to have to know his onions. Like,
yes. Chat says it's an ultrasound of a pregnant lady's stomach. Yes.
It's a boy.
Oh dear, amazing. Yeah, this is nice. Like, heat blur, they're fantastic at doing this kind of stuff. Their radar simulation in the F-14, their INS simulation in the F-14, and they're everything. Like Jester. Heat blur, well done. You're so good.
Yeah, is that their own? Is that their own code for the radar? Heat blur writing that they're not using the new.
Yeah, actually, I've been poking around a bit, different module developers, and apparently almost nobody uses the radar simulation in the ED-SDK. Most people have made their own. I think the GF-17 maybe is using Eagle's code, but I know that Razbam for the F-15 is not. I know that the Viggen does not. I know the F-14 does not. So quite a few of them are not using it for various reasons. In some cases because it didn't exist when they started development, and in other cases because they're doing things that are so far removed from what the SDK simulates. Because the SDK that Eagle have really just is designed to simulate the F-16 and F-18 radars. It doesn't do anything other than that, really.
Yeah.
So it's understandable that people have to go their own way.
Yeah.
Very, very cool indeed.
It's going to be good, and it's yeah. I hope we don't see sort of some of the problems that we see with the F-14, where nobody wants to sit in the back seat, because like
we're going to see that. We know we're going to see that.
It's a shame. It's a shame. And back seat should get more love because it's good fun. It's good fun.
I often in the F-14 fly as the Wizzo. I really enjoy that. But yeah, we see the same thing in the Apache. Nobody wants to be a CPG. Well, not actually. It's less of a problem in the Apache because being a CPG is a little bit more exciting. But still, everybody.
Yeah, in my experience, it's actually the other way around. Like, everybody wants to be the CPG, nobody wants to fly it.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, well, maybe I'm wrong then. But I was looking at some of the people in VAF. Like, generally people in VAF at least are sitting in the pilot's seat and then using George. Even in multiplayer, we have like a whole load of single seat Apaches with George.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's because with CPG, there's so much to do. As a CPG, you're constantly busy, and I mean, you're effectively running the show in the front seat. The pilot flies you in, and then goes over to you. Yeah. And you're running the show. You're telling them where to go, what to do, and getting you the best position to get your weapons on.
Because really the only weapon system that the pilot is responsible for in most cases are the rockets. Like CPG will fire the gun. CPG will set up the shot for the Hellfires. I guess the pilot perhaps pulls the trigger. I don't know. But yeah,
it can be either. But yeah, the rockets is obviously because the pilot's responsible for lining up the I-bar and sort of getting onto target. That's why the CPG is popular. But I don't know with the F4. There will be a lot to do in the F4 because there's a lot less. There's a lot less automation. I mean, even in the Tomcat. There's a fair amount of assistance going on for the Wizzo and the Tomcat. I mean, not a lot, but I mean there is some. Yeah, you're not having to pull stuff out of raw radar effectively. So yeah, maybe there'll be more to do in the F4 because it's really hands on. But then I don't know if that'll put people off. So it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, definitely. I like Nico's comment. I was thinking the same thing. Chauffeur, take me to the enemy. Advance.
Yeah. Stick monkey, go forwards.
Exactly. Oh dear. So, that's basically all the news that we had for this week. So I think now is an appropriate time to do as we often do, and to
just before we do, actually, Michael Lucia, apologies if I've butchered your last name, just made this really interesting point. What's needed is a buddy or friend system where you can find out if your Wizzo, Rio, Copilot, Wingman, or whatever is online and hop in the server he's in. This way, squadrons can form something that doesn't involve Discord. That's actually a really good. It's kind of like Wingman Finder, but sort of like Crewman Finder, I guess.
Yes.
That's actually a really good idea.
Yeah, that is a good idea. I guess, yeah, if they were able to create something like that. So, basically some of the kind of functionality that we see in Steam, really. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like that. I think because that's because again the challenge the challenge they've got to get over is as we have often discussed is that multiplayer is a tiny percentage of the DCS base.
Yeah,
like I think it's somewhere like 10-15% or something like that based on some slightly janky mathematics, but it's a small amount. So tools like that to let people be less barriers to overcome, basically, to get online, I think is a really good thing. Yeah,
because of course, if you're a member of an online squadron like the VAF,
good segue.
then these things are not really a problem because we have our Discord server and it's easy for people to kind of find people to fly with. But yeah, if you're not a member of an online squadron, having a mechanism like this in game would be fantastic. Be really, really good. But yeah, the VAF. Let me play this fantastic trailer. This time without music because I got demonetized last time. That our boy Jupiter from the Virtual Air Force created for us. So I'll play that in the background while we're talking about the Virtual Air Force, which is a virtual online squadron that was formed by myself and dotChuckles many, many moons ago. We have a kind of opt-in milsim style approach. You've got the option of joining the squadron as a freelancer and flying whenever you want, whenever you want. Or alternatively, you can join one of our internal numbered squadrons and you can do like a type rating and various other qualifications. We currently have squadrons for the Apache, the A-10, the Harrier, the F-16 and the F-18. And in the near future, we'll have one for the Strike Eagle, of course. We fly every Tuesday and Thursday at what time do we fly now? I think we're flying at 7 p.m. now, UK time, on both Tuesdays and Thursdays. We had a slight change to that. You can join us by clicking on the Discord link in the show notes below. Everybody is welcome to join the Discord, whether you fly with us or not. And hope to see you all there. And also, if you haven't already, click the subscribe button. I'm only 2 subscribers away from 8k subscribers.
2 more! Get him his 8k! Come on.
It would make me happy. It would make my parents proud.
Can we just shout out to our man Jupiter who made that video? His cinematography skills. Oh. And the thing is the guy, like, he's not a pro. He's not, he doesn't do anything in cinematography, but he understands where a camera needs to be and how it should be framed, and it's very, very good. So it's very good. Small round of applause for Jupiter.
Well done, sir. Well done. Just checking in with chat there. Pimp the VAF. Michael says the reason multiplayer is a small percentage is because you can never find friends to play with. They're on when you want to fly the aircraft that you do, and there are no clubs, squadrons, guilds, or groups. Well, there are many online squadrons, and actually, to their credit, Eagle Dynamics now have a section of the forum dedicated to listing online squadrons that you can join in your area. So it's well worth seeking out an online squadron to fly with. And I personally would recommend the Virtual Air Force, where I'm a squadron leader for the Harrier Squadron. But yeah, it's very, very good.
And saying also there's an issue with new pilots or pilots that are new to the plane, learning systems, tactics, etc., is why you join an online squadron, because that's where you will receive the training. However, his point is kind of valid that there's nothing in the game. Like the way the multiplayer lobby works is trash. They could do with putting some more time into that, because it would expand the multiplayer experience. And to be honest, the way that when DCS shines is when you're on a large server with multiple people in an organized group, and there isn't the tools in the launcher to do that. No. So it is a valid point. It is a valid point. There are, but there to on the other side, there are things available for you, like the VAF, and even not the VAF, other online squadrons. If you
other online squadrons are available.
yeah. But yeah, it is a valid point. The sort of the multiplayer aspects within the launcher is trash. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, thank you, Mika. The F4 radar display was a ground mapping mode. I thought that was just like the kind of raw returns, because like some of these early radars, even when you're in an air-to-air mode, you get quite a lot of
you just get
stuff.
Nonsense.
Yeah.
It all depends on your altitude and cloud base and all sorts of stuff. If you've got any clouds about, that's the kind of image you see. Because it gets hard on a cloudy day. If you're above the cloud deck, you get tons of nonsense.
I remember that quite a bit, like when I first started flying the MiG-21, and then like firing the radar up and getting all these returns all over the screen, and then realizing, oh, those are clouds.
Yeah. It's difficult. You require skills. You require to know how to use the filters and gain control and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
you gotta sit and twiddle your knobs.
Absolutely. Cool. So yeah, we pimped the VAF. I guess all that leaves is for us to pimp ourselves. So he's been dotChuckles. I've been Deepak. I do a new tutorial video every Saturday. It's 6:30 p.m. UK time. Currently, I'm doing a series on the Mirage. I'm not 100% sure what I'll do next in that tutorial series. Maybe I'll do the memory modes. Maybe I'll do the data link. We'll figure it out. There's still a lot to cover. The Mirage can do a lot of cool stuff. But yeah, that'll be at 6:30 p.m. and it's always followed by the DCS news, which just happens to be this thing, what you're watching right now. And I think that's all we have. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like, and comment. That's a really big help to me and to the channel. Also, you have the option of joining Deepak's ground crew by clicking the join button below for a small monthly fee. Thank you very much, and a big shout out to those of you who've already done so. Thank you very much, Harish Rajan, Byron Farrow, Storm Kambari, Channel Right, Mangash, J.R. Walker, Chandler Hedgevald, Griff Nizzle, Mr. Yeti, Frantic Stone, Bread, Tier Zero, Erdinker Tan, Veli Tapani Korpikanas, Tiger Moto, Sean I Am 81, Charts, and Pink Floyd.
Oh, what a lot of people. Well done.
Thank you very much, everybody. So, yes, all that leaves for us to say is thank you very much for watching, everybody. Fly safe, and we'll see you next time. Ta-ta.